Welcome to The Makeup Historian, where we showcase honest discussions about the beauty and blemishes of various societies throughout the world and throughout time. I'm your host, Sarah Long, a former professional makeup artist turned history professor.
Have you read through the entire United States Constitution? Why or why not? Honestly, I have not read the entire Constitution until I took your class. So, as children of immigrants, the emphasis on the Constitution is not embedded into us as kids or in my family.
I'm actually reading through it right now, and I'm about half done. I have been participating in many grassroots protests fighting back against buying passports and masking our children at our public schools here where I live. I was handed a mini book of the Constitution, amendments, and Declaration of Independence when I was in one of these protests, and it is honestly amazing. I have been reading it slowly every day since and I find it very interesting how easy it is to understand when you read it yourself.
In grade school, I know that we did read the United States Constitution. The reason that I am not interested in it, which I should be because it's history, is because I'm not interested in history. And I know that was the foundation of basically everything we are now, but unfortunately it doesn't interest me enough to read it. I get very bored reading anything history, so that's why.
And yes, I have because I took AP no, it was called AP Governments and Politics in 12th grade. And the teacher made you actually read the whole thing, annotate, take notes, and by the end of the semester, you write a quick essay. No, actually, it was like a 3 hour essay. You write an essay about what you think you would change, and if you can change it, what would you change? Um, so, yes, I have read through the entire United States Constitution. It was really hard to understand everything.
Yes, I have. It's because I honestly, if I was just a regular person that I didn't need to read the Constitution, I probably wouldn't, unless I was arrested or something. Where I just broken the law, then I would read it. But um, I read it due to the fact that I had to read it in high school for my history class. Um, and just the different constitution just gave me new thoughts to think about of how the constitution was made and why was it made. So yeah, but if I wasn't in a history class, to be honest, I would not have read the history of the United States Constitution, just because a lot of people just kind of throw away or just disregard the history. Rather, it's more important that we should. So being educated now, I think that United States Constitution should be read for educational purposes.
Well, I did take your Women in History class last semester, and you made it a point for us to, like, if we had time, read through the Constitution because there was certain things that stood out in it about the laws and everything that they wrote down. So I did take the time back in that semester to really read through it and see the points that you had pointed out earlier in that class.
No, I have not read through the entire Constitution. And one of the reasons being is that it's never really sparked my interest, to be honest with you. And the reason being is because I look at the Constitution as the book of rules and the laws for the lawmakers to either oppress or free themselves. So to me, there's a lot of things in our country that were done that were unconstitutional, and yet the Constitution did not apply to them. So the Constitution to me has actually only been for some, not for all. So I just think that it's not something that was or would be beneficial to me, but if you record it, I would definitely listen to it.
Have I read through the entire Constitution? The answer is no. I have not read through the entire United States Constitution. I think the farthest I've gone into reading the United States Constitution was probably the preamble. And I believe that was because my history teacher in high school had us memorize it as part of an assignment. Do I remember the preamble? No, I do not. I think the reason I have not read it is because it's very long and I have not had the time to read it. I think I might read it all the way through sometime this semester because I understand the importance of it.
I have never read through the entire United States Constitution. I think that it would be a little bit of a headache reading through it and kind of trying to understand all of the older language used. Maybe I could get my hands on a more authentic modern day language one. But the more and more you talk about it, it really does get me realizing that I definitely should. Um, I just think that it's important to know that information, so I definitely do need to get on that.
I do say it with great shame that I have not read through the entire US Constitution. I do know that a long time ago, a professor named Sarah Long did strongly recommend in the first class of US history that we read through the entire US Constitution. This is why I am strongly embarrassed to admit that I have not done so yet, but I do understand that knowing our Constitution and the rights and obligations that we carry as citizens of the United States is very important. We can't fully say we are American citizens if we do not know what it entitles. So I would love to read through the entire US Constitution, and I have made it one of my goals for the summer.
Have you read through the entire United States Constitution? Why or why not? Yes, I have read through the entire United States Constitution multiple times. Why? It was part of a thing we had to do in high school. My senior year of my AP U.S. history class. She made us read the entire United States Constitution, and each of us had to recite a certain section of it.
Have I ever read through the entire United States Constitution? The answer to that is no, I have not. When I was in elementary school, though, about 5th grade, I think, my teacher taught us a song to the preamble of the Constitution, and then every morning when we got to class, we would all stand up and watch this YouTube video of them singing it, and then we would sing it and have the lyrics with us. But besides only learning mostly that and other little parts of it, I don't think there's a clear reason to why I haven't read it. I just think it's because our teachers just in high school or junior high would just teach us the parts of it and then move on, and I never really thought that I needed it. But I recently looked it up and it's not too long, so maybe I'll have to actually read the entire thing now.
Hey, makeup historian. So, about this US Constitution, I have not fully read through it, and I'm sure that I should. I know that it would be very helpful to know all the rights that I, as an American, actually do have and do not have, in a sense, especially during this time with COVID-19 and everybody requiring you to wear a mask. Is that really legally something people can push onto you? I feel like my answer would be within the Constitution, and so I bet I should read that. But no, I have not read through it, and that's just because reading is not my best skill, and that just makes me nervous. So I probably should just read more to develop that skill better.
I will be answering, have you read through the entire United States Constitution, why or why not? I actually have read the entire United States Constitution in 8th grade history. And remember we had a project where we had to reflect on all the sections/articles on the Constitution. But I have to honestly say, if it wasn't for that, I would have never read it. I have to say that the only reason I read it is because I kind of had to complete the project. Moreover, before the assignment, I remember my teacher reading out loud to us the Constitution. In my opinion, I feel like it is something you should do once, especially if you are a United States citizen. Something that will always stick in my head is the beginning, as silly as it sounds, we the people.
I have not read through the entire United States Constitution because I have not had time and because it's never really one of the first things I choose to read when it comes to that decision, although I know I probably should.
Have you read through the entire United States Constitution? Why or why not? Unfortunately, I haven't. The main reason it's because I don't really have much time to read on like I don't have time to read at all. I would love to. It is I think it's really like important, obviously, since you're living in the United States. Um, but yeah, I mean, I've read some of it for my history classes I've been taking, and but that's it. So yes, um, I would love to have a little bit more time to read.
I have read through the entire United States Constitution. When I was in high school, I had a very long assignment that required me to read each section of the Constitution and answer questions about each section. It has been a few years since then, so I don't remember much of what I read. So I would be interested in rereading it again when I have free time.
Okay, so when it comes to the United States Constitution, I have not read it since high school, and I'm very embarrassed to say so because it's constitutional issues that impact our everyday lives and constitutional knowledge that we should know. It has a transformative power that allows us to understand how we fit in the world around us and the role that civil responsibility plays in American society. I think it's so important to note, like, this is the foundation of our country. So it's like reading the manual to anything you're building. Like, we live in this life. These are our liberties. These are our justices. I full-heartedly believe that it's something that I need to read because if I don't know my rights, how am I supposed to? If you don't know your right, that's the start. You have to know where we come from. So, yeah.
Well, so to be truthfully honest, at the beginning of this semester, I said that I have not read through the whole Constitution, or if I have, I do not remember. And I am shamed that I have not. And through this course, I honestly probably still have not read through the whole thing, which I really should because obviously it's very important. And why have I not? There's really no particular reason besides laziness, and I really should probably get to that so I can see what was said and what was going on because I honestly don't know. Besides, like, we the people, or we are the people of the. Okay, see, I can't even quote it because I have no idea. So honestly, after this, I will probably, well, maybe not, but I will definitely read the Constitution eventually. But definitely, I will.
I have not read through the entire United States Constitution because I'm not a big fan of history, but I feel like later on when I get older, I'm going to want to know a lot more. And I feel like later on, I probably will read the entire United States Constitution when I have more time. But right now, I just don't think that I'm so much interested in it that I have the ability to be able to read the whole entire thing.
Have I read through the entire United States Constitution? Why or why not? No, I have not read the entire United States Constitution. I've read some parts of it due to my high school government class, but it does not really interest me. So I wouldn't really read the entire thing, but I think, well, I heard somewhere that I really should learn about it so I know all my rights. But it's too much, I think, in my opinion. But other people like to read it, so more power to them.
I have not read through the entire United States Constitution. I have it because I really have not been too much of a history type of person, and I'm not until recently, but I just have not had the time to. I haven't really been I guess being completely honest, I haven't been too interested in reading the entire United States Constitution. It's not really my thing. But after taking this course, I really find myself wanting to read it and just to learn more about it.
I have not read the entire United States Constitution. I've read some parts of it, but I have never needed to read the entire thing. I haven't done it just because I've never sat down for the specific purpose of reading the entire United States Constitution. Personally, I don't think it's something that I would ever do, but there's always a chance.
I have not read through the entire United States Constitution. I only read parts of it in my U.S. government class back in high school.
I have never, ever read through the entire United States Constitution. However, I did buy a copy of the Declaration of Independence on the 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C. And on the bus, on the way back from the airport to the school, I left it on the bus. And that will forever make me very sad. Not because I was excited to read the Declaration of Independence, but because I had bought that souvenir. But as far as the Constitution goes, I know the amendments generally, but I feel like reading the entire thing, I've never really been able to understand Old English language. And I feel like if I was really interested in reading the entire United States Constitution, I would major in history or politics. But otherwise, it doesn't really interest me that much.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. If you would like to send in your response to the featured research question, download the Anchor app, follow the Makeup Historian podcast, and send in a voice message to the show. Research is ongoing, and every response helps. Besides, you never know. Your response could be featured in a future episode.